So, hi and welcome everybody. Today is Tuesday, the 25th of July, 2023, and it's 2 minutes past 8 p.m. in Colombia. Welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. This is the fourth of a series of videos in which of live streaming classes in which we are learning and practicing the conjugation of regular verbs. And remember, we're using a list of 56 of the most used regular verbs in Spanish. And what we are doing is basically conjugating the verbs using some sentences as examples. And we are basing our conjugation for the verbs on a table that I have. Let me see. Oh, I don't see the table. Whoa. Okay. The table is here, right? This is the table. And remember, these are exercises. The last three videos, as I was creating the examples, I was like making up the examples on the go. This time I decided to write the sentences before our class. And this is just in order to avoid like wasting a little bit of time, and in order to be able to go with at least 10 more verbs in the list. So let me see if everything is working okay, if the audio is okay, if the video is okay. According to my software, everything should be working perfect. So if you don't mind, we can start right away. Give me just a second. Okay. And what we're going to do is, let's do this. Whoops. I'm okay. I'm having kind of issues here with the camera. So is the video okay? Is the audio working perfect? Let me know, please. Give me some feedback. And we're going to move this table. Let me see if I can move this table a little bit here. I'm going to move the table here, right? In the meantime, we can focus on the first lines, and I'll be scrolling in order to be able to read all of the sentences. So remember that we have conjugated other verbs before, and remember, all of these are regular verbs. Remember that regular verbs, basically verbs in Spanish, in their infinitive form, they end in ar, ir. Ar, ir are the endings, the ending of the verbs when they are in their infinitive form. And in order to conjugate those regular verbs, we basically need to change, to replace that ar, ir ending with these endings according to the table for the different subjects, the different pronouns, and according to the ending of the verb. So in this case, desayunar, to have breakfast. Desayunar. Oh, that was the verb that we saw before, the last class. Yeah. Dudar, dudar. Dudar, it's a regular verb that, okay, perfecto, Malik. Thank you. The dudar, it's a regular verb and ending in ar. The root is in red, as you can see. Dud is the root, and it means to doubt, to waver, or to have doubts. That would be the meanings. Those would be the meanings of the verb dudar en español, in Spanish. So, as you can see, I'm conjugating based on the root of the verb. So, yo dudo que él pueda resolver el problema solo. These sentences, unlike the other sentences that we had as examples in the first three videos, these are a little bit more complex sentences. But just focus, let's focus primarily on the conjugation of the verb, which is the idea of this exercise, right? Focus on the conjugation of the verb. The rest of the sentence, well, it can be kind of what could we say? We have a little bit of complexity here, but let's not worry about that yet. Let's worry about the conjugation. Let's focus on the conjugation. So I have yo dudo, as you can see, the first column, remember, we're following the rules on these columns. We have the first column like all the way down my index finger here. That's the first column. That's the one that we need to follow. Yo dudo que él pueda resolver el problema solo. I doubt that he can solve the problem alone. Tú dudas de la veracidad de sus afirmaciones. You doubt the veracity of his statements. Dudas tú, close relationships, informal. Usted duda de la veracidad de sus afirmaciones, same sentence. You doubt the veracity of his statements. When it's formal, singular. Ustedes dudan, for plural. Ustedes dudan de la veracidad de sus afirmaciones. You doubt the veracity of his statements. And plural for Spain. Vosotros dudáis de la veracidad de sus afirmaciones. You doubt the veracity of his statements. Sentence in English is the same. It only changes because of the way we we have that we are prone to drama and stuff like that. But anyways, él duda de sus habilidades para realizar la tarea. He doubts his abilities to perform the task. Ella duda que la película sea buena. She doubts that the movie is good. Duda acerca de su propio movimiento, like an animal. It doubts about its next move. Nosotros dudamos que lleguen a tiempo para la reunión. We doubt that they will arrive on time for the meeting. And ellos dudan si deben aceptar la oferta laboral. They doubt, male. Ellas dudan, same conjugation. I was looking there. I should be looking there. For female, ellas dudan si deben aceptar la oferta laboral. Remember, first, we need to practice a lot using the pronouns just to understand how the conjugation links to each one of the pronouns. And then we can practice same sentences without the pronouns. So like, dudo que él pueda resolver el problema solo. It's the same. In fact, we usually speak like that. Dudas de la veracidad de sus afirmaciones. Duda de sus habilidades. Dudáis de la veracidad. You can skip the pronoun, but after practicing first using the pronoun, just in order to understand the way it works. Now I want to move to this verb, which is tonight we have I think 2 or 3 verbs. I think 2 that might be kind of complicated. Why? Durar in Spanish can be translated in English as to last, endure, bear, take, or spend when it comes to time. But not necessarily we use the sentences like so in Spanish. So, let's say, yo duro aproximadamente 1 hora en terminar mi rutina de ejercicios. It means I spend approximately an hour finishing my exercise routine. Yo duro aproximadamente 1 hora. But we can say that in Spanish. I'm just using the example to understand how the verb is conjugated. But in Spanish, we can say also yo tardo, me demoro. It's basically the same. Yo duro. When we use the verb durar in Spanish, if it's based on it's basically regarding time or enduring something, right? Sometimes. So let's check these examples. Yo duro aproximadamente 1 hora en terminar mi rutina de ejercicio. Yo duro. I spend approximately 1 hour. It takes an hour. Well, I take an hour. Or it takes me an hour. Tú duras mucho tiempo tomando decisiones importantes. You take a long time making important decisions. Tú duras mucho tiempo. Te tardas mucho tiempo. Te demoras mucho tiempo. Those verbs are basically the same, but remember, we are using durar because it's one of the verbs in the list. Tú, singular, informal. Usted dura mucho tiempo tomando decisiones importantes. Usted dura, remember, focus on the conjugation. Singular, formal. Ustedes duran, let's show this. Ustedes duran mucho tiempo tomando decisiones importantes. Plural. Vosotros duráis, Spain. Vosotros duráis mucho tiempo tomando decisiones importantes. You take a long time making important decisions. Remember. Él dura varios días en completar el informe. He takes several days to complete the report. Él tarda varios días. Él se demora varios días. Same verb. Ella dura unos minutos en resolver el problema. She spends a few minutes solving the problem. Dura una semana. Let's say a battery. Wow, that would be great if a battery would lasted a week. It lasts a week. Dura una semana. Nosotros duramos mucho tiempo bajo la lluvia esperando el bus. We endure a long time in the rain, under the rain, waiting for the bus. And last, ellos duran todo el mes. Let's say supplies, mail, objects, mail in Spanish. Ellos duran todo el mes. They last the whole month. Or ellas duran todo el mes, female. They last the whole month. So that would be the verb durar. And remember, even though I use this here, let's say in this sentence, it would sound more natural if I say yo me demoro o yo tomo aproximadamente o me tardo. But it's a little bit more complicated because reflexive verbs and so. But the idea first is just to get used to the conjugation of the regular verbs. So, how's it going so far? Is it going okay? Give me some feedback, please. Enamorar. This is one of the verbs that I wanted to talk about because enamorar can be used in two ways. Enamorar or enamorarse. Enamorar, it's basically to make someone fall in love, to captivate someone, to charm someone, to win someone's heart. That means enamorar, like so. But I also can use enamorarse, like a reflexive verb, which is to fall in love. Those are different ways to use the same verb, but the conjugation is the same. Conjugation is the same. The only thing that changes is in these sentences, we don't use the me, te, which would be like the some kind of like object pronouns, not quite, but we will get there. We will get there. In the meantime, let's focus just on conjugation, okay? So, enamorar from the point of view that we make someone fall in love, we captivate someone's heart, we charm someone, we win someone's heart. So, yo enamoro a mi pareja con detalles románticos. I make my partner fall in love with romantic gestures. Yo enamoro a mi pareja. You see how this is subject, verb, object, basically. Tú enamoras a todos con tu carisma. You charm everyone with your charisma. Usted, that would be singular, close relationships, informal. Usted enamora a todos con su carisma, singular, formal. Ustedes enamoran a todos con su carisma, plural. You charm everyone with your charisma. And vosotros enamoráis a todos con vuestro carisma, Spain, plural. Él enamora a la audiencia con su voz angelical. He captivates the audience with his angelic voice. Ella enamora a sus seguidores con su talento artístico. She enchants her followers with her artistic talent. She charms. I miss this one. Enchants. Encantar. And I would say, yeah. Let's say it is. Enamora a todos con sus paisajes. Let's say a place. It charms everybody with its landscapes. Nosotros enamoramos a nuestros clientes con un excelente servicio. Enamoramos. We win over our customers with excellent service. And ellos enamoran a las personas con su actitud positiva. They make people fall in love with their positive attitude. Male. Ellas, female, enamoran a las personas con su actitud positiva. They make people fall in love with their positive attitude. And that is the way we conjugate enamorar. And you will see that it's exactly the same here. The only thing is we add me, te, se, se. That's really something that we call nosotros nos enamoramos. That we call dativo de interés. But once again, we're going to go there in the future. That's a little bit more of advanced Spanish, but we are going to get there. Don't worry. So, enamorarse from the perspective of to fall in love, which is reflexive in Spanish. Yo me enamoro. You see, this is exactly the same. Enamoro. Tú te enamoras. Usted se enamora. Ustedes se enamoran. Vosotros os enamoráis. Él se enamora, and so on. Right? So we have, yo me enamoro de su sonrisa cada vez que la veo. I fall in love with her smile every time I see her. Then I click to get an alert, but oh, don't worry. Flash flood area, don't worry, because I'm leaving these videos in like 3 different playlists. So don't worry. Video is gonna be here. And oh, one other thing. Maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, I'm gonna have a live streaming class at around maybe 1 p.m. Colombian time, just in order to be able to be live for some people in Europe, because I received some comments. People from Europe, they would like to have the chance to be live during the chat and so on. So most likely I'm gonna have that live streaming class maybe tomorrow or the day after at 1 p.m. Colombian time. So stay tuned. Okay, so tú te enamoras fácilmente de personas interesantes. You fall in love easily with interesting people. Tú te enamoras. Usted se enamora fácilmente de personas interesantes. You fall in love easily with interesting people. If it's remember, tú when it's close relationship singular, and usted when it's formal singular, ustedes when it's plural, and vosotros Spain. Usted se enamora fácilmente de personas interesantes. You fall in love easily with interesting people. Ustedes se enamoran fácilmente de personas interesantes. You fall in love easily with interesting people. And vosotros os enamoráis fácilmente de personas interesantes. You fall in love easily with interesting people. As you can see, it's the same conjugation, and it's enamorar. Enamorar. It's first column. The conjugation based on the rules. First column of this table that we have on screen. Él se enamora profundamente de ella día tras día. He falls deeply in love with her day after day. Día tras día. Él se enamora. Ella se enamora de la música cada vez que la escucha. She falls in love with the music every time she listens to it. Se enamora de su compañera. It falls in love with its partner. Nosotros nos enamoramos de la naturaleza cuando estamos al aire libre. Nos enamoramos. Basically saying, we fall in love with nature when we are outdoors. And ellos se enamoran de la idea de explorar nuevos lugares. They fall in love with the idea of exploring new places. Male. Ellas se enamoran, same conjugation. Yeah, indirecto de objetivos. Yeah, we're gonna get there, Malik. Don't worry. It's a little bit more complicated, but we're gonna get there. And I'm going to do my best in order to give you a full and thorough explanation so you can fully understand the idea and the concepts behind that. That's what I'm going to do. Every video I'm going to try and give you the concepts and the foundations for you to fully understand the way things work in Spanish. That's the reason why I'm speaking in English because my wish, I expect and I hope to be able to convey all these ideas properly and to be fully understood, despite my sometimes broken English. But anyways, doing my best. Let's move to the next verb, escribir, to write or to type. We also say escribir when I'm typing. Let's say I'm typing on the keyboard. We also say escribir, right? Years ago, before computers, we used to say in Spanish, escribir a máquina, to type, because it was la máquina de escribir, the typing machine. Something like the literal translation would be the machine of writing or the writing machine. But it's, you know what I mean. So, yo escribo, escribir, remember, escribir ends in ir, so we need to use this column here, the third one, ending ir. And we have, yo escribo cartas a mis amigos con regularidad. I write letters to my friends regularly. Yo escribo. Tú escribes, singular, close relationships, informal. Tú escribes en tu diario todas las noches. You write, hey, swag theft auto. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Cómo vamos? Thing is, Serena, thanks for the question. Me encanta when I say adoro o yo amo. In English, we say I love, like the example that you're using here. Me encanta el idioma español. Me encanta el idioma español. I love Spanish language. I love Spanish. In English, we use love. In Spanish, literal translation would be yo amo el idioma español. And yeah, we can say yo amo el idioma español. But we say me encanta, meaning adoro el sistema, el lenguaje español. We use love and we can translate love as encantar, me encanta. Me encanta, it would be something like I'm enchanted by it, right? I'm so charmed, enchanted by that because I feel in love with that. That would be somehow like the idea. Okay, swag theft auto. I might be live tomorrow, might be the day after tomorrow at noon. Don't worry. These classes, even though these are live classes, live streaming classes, you can see those classes later because I'm leaving the videos here. There's like 3 different playlists in which you can find these videos. So don't worry. And yeah, I'll try and do my best in order to help all of you guys and girls with the language. So don't worry. And we're going baby steps. So, tú escribes en tu diario todas las noches. Tú escribes. You write in your diary every day, every night. Usted escribe en su diario todas las noches. You write in your diary every night. Ustedes escriben en sus diarios todas las noches. Plural. You write in your diary every night. And vosotros escribís en vuestro diario todas las noches. You write in your diary every night. See how, even though in English is the same sentence, in Spanish, when we change the subject, a lot of times the possessive also changes. Su, sus, vuestro, tú, right? That's something that we're going to study also. Okay, bye-bye. Swag Thereafter said, no, amo el idioma español. Malik, amo el idioma español. That would be I love Spanish language. Amo el idioma español. That's it. You don't say me amo. You don't say that. Amo el idioma español. But in Spanish, at least here in Colombia, more natural would be saying me encanta. Me encanta el idioma español. Adoro el idioma español. You can say amo el idioma español. It is okay. It's more natural if we say, at least here in Colombia, me encanta. Me encanta el idioma español. Amo el idioma español. Idioma español, not idioma de español. No. You say in English, Spanish language, meaning Spanish is the adjective, language is the noun. In Spanish is the other way. Noun first, and then the adjective. Idioma español, not idioma de español, because we're not using possessive here. Okay? Amo el idioma español. So, amo without the me. Amo, because I love Spanish language. Okay, so let's go with, él escribe poemas hermosos para su novia. He writes beautiful poems for his girlfriend. Escribe. Ella escribe, same conjugation, artículos para su revista famosa. She writes articles for a famous magazine. Escribe cartas. It writes letters. Nosotros escribimos correos electrónicos a nuestros clientes. We write emails to our clients. One thing. A nuestros clientes. Spanish is with this thing of the well, it's kind of complicated now, but in Spanish, when we say nuestros, we mean both male and female. Some people get offended by it and they say, no, you should say nuestros. That's so crazy. I don't understand why. And if the customers or clients were only women, female, we would say nuestras clientes. Let's say it's a factory of things for women, whatever it is. Nuestras, we would say. But when we say nuestros, a lot of times the adjectives can be in male gender, and it can apply for both male and female. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. So far, we're focusing on conjugation, but don't worry, we're gonna get there. So then I wrote it wrong too. A little bit, Cyrena, don't worry, but you're gonna, me encanta la idioma. Yeah, because me encanta el idioma. That's another thing, the gender thing with the article, that's something that's something else that we're going to review, so don't worry. El idioma español, noun, adjective, okay? Ellos escriben mensajes motivadores en las redes sociales. Ellos escriben, they write motivational messages on social media. Male, media. Ellas escriben, same conjugation for female, mensajes motivadores en las redes sociales. Female, so okay. Let's move to escuchar, to listen or to listen to. Escuchar. A lot of verbs ending in ar. My pleasure. Yo escucho música mientras trabajo en mi computadora. I listen to music while I work on my computer. Tú escuchas, singular, informal, close relationships. Tú escuchas las noticias todas las mañanas. You listen to the news every morning. Usted escucha las noticias todas las mañanas. Singular, formal. Ustedes escuchan las noticias todas las mañanas. Plural. You listen to the news every morning. And vosotros escucháis las noticias todas las mañanas. You listen to the news every morning. In Spain. Él escucha consejos de sus padres. He listens to advice from his parents. Él escucha. And ella escucha, same conjugation. Ella escucha podcasts interesantes durante su tiempo libre. She listens to interesting podcasts during her free time. Escucha cuidadosamente. It listens carefully. Nosotros escuchamos las opiniones de nuestros colegas. We listen to our colleagues' opinions. Funny thing, sometimes we also use oímos, like hear, and even though we're meaning listen. We are going to get there, don't worry. A lot of stuff to study and to learn, but don't worry. Baby steps, first things first. Ellos escuchan, male for they. Ellos escuchan las instrucciones del profesor en clase. They listen to the teacher's instructions in class. Ellas escuchan las instrucciones, female, del profesor en clase. They listen to the teacher's instructions in class. Esperar. Esperar can be translated as to wait, to hope, or expect. Good thing is for the three verbs we use esperar. That's it. So, yo espero el bus en la parada todas las mañanas. I wait for the bus at the stop every morning. You might ask, you might be wondering, el bus isn't autobus? Yep, it can be autobus or bus. Here in Colombia, we use bus a lot. Autobus, we understand, but we use bus a lot. Tú esperas a tus amigos en el parque. You wait for your friends at the park. Singular, close relationships, informal. Usted espera a sus amigos en el parque. You wait for your friends at the park. Singular, formal. Ustedes esperan a sus amigos en el parque. Plural. Vosotros esperáis a vuestros amigos en el parque. Plural, Spain. You wait for your friends at the park. Él espera pacientemente su turno. He waits patiently for his turn. Ella espera buenas noticias de su entrevista. She waits for good news from her interview. It could be she expects good news. Could be that. And it could be translated as ella espera. Or she hopes for good news. Ella espera. Tiene la esperanza. Anyways. Yep, a nuestros clientes. A nuestros clientes. It can be both a nuestros clientes or nuestros clientes, depending on how you use the sentence. That was an interesting. Nuestros clientes. ¿Dónde están nuestros clientes? Nuestros clientes. Nosotros escribimos correos electrónicos a nuestros clientes. Here we need to use the a. We need to use the a. Nuestras clientes. It could be nuestras clientes or nuestras clientas. Could be both. It can be used in both ways in Spanish. Nuestras clientes or nuestras clientas. Can be both. Interesting, right? So, espera por su comida. Espera por su comida. It waits for its food. Nosotros esperamos la llegada de nuestros familiares. We wait for the arrival of our relatives. Nosotros esperamos. Ellos esperan, male, el inicio del concierto. They wait for the beginning of the concert. Ellas esperan el inicio del concierto. They wait for the beginning of the concert. Female, same conjugation. Estudiar, to study. That's it. No other meanings for that. Yo estudio matemáticas todos los días. I study mathematics, math, every day. Tú estudias inglés en la escuela. Singular, close relationships, informal. You study English at school. Usted estudia inglés en la escuela. Singular, formal. Ustedes estudian inglés en la escuela. Plural. Vosotros estudiáis inglés en la escuela. Plural, Spain. Él estudia historia para el examen final. He studies history for the final exam. Él estudia. Ella estudia. Same conjugation. Él, ella, same conjugation. Él, ella, usted. Same conjugation. As you can see in the table. That's basically the table. Ella estudia música los fines de semana. She studies music on weekends. Estudia sus movimientos. It studies its movements. Nosotros estudiamos ciencias en el laboratorio. We study science in the laboratory. Ellos estudian medicina en la universidad. They study medicine at the university. Male. Ellas estudian medicina en la universidad. They study medicine at the university. Female. And to exist. I think this is the last one. Oh no, we still have 1, 2. Wow, 3. We have 3 more. Exist. Exist, to existir, to exist, existir. Sorry, I'm mixing languages. Yo existo, existir, ending ir. Third column. Yo existo en este mundo para cumplir mi propósito. I exist in this world to fulfill my purpose. Translation might sound kind of weird in English, but these are sentences that we can say in Spanish, and in Spanish they have meaning. They make sense. Yo existo en este mundo para cumplir mi propósito. Would be something like I live in this world, but I exist. Okay. Tú existes gracias a tus padres. You exist thanks to your parents. You live thanks to your parents. Tú existes. Singular, formal, close relationships. Usted existe gracias a sus padres. Singular, formal. The first one is tú existes, singular, informal, close relationships. Tú existes gracias a tus padres. Usted existe gracias a sus padres. Singular, formal. Ustedes existen gracias a sus padres. Plural. Vosotros existís gracias a vuestros padres. Plural, Spain. Espera por sus comidas. Yes and no. Yes and no. Thanks for the question, Malik. Good question. Good question. These sentences, estudia, espera por su comida. This can be, let's explain this real quick because I think this is a very good question from Malik Nazim. Please correct me if I mispronounce your last name. Espera por su comida means it waits for its food. Why? Because in Spanish, when in English we use the pronoun it, meaning things or animals, we never use the pronoun in Spanish. We don't have, even though we can say ello or eso as a pronoun, in Spanish, we never use it as a pronoun. Never as a subject pronoun, because it can be used as an object pronoun, and then we have to say the object pronoun. But when it is a subject pronoun in Spanish, we never use that. So this sentence is meaning that there's an animal or that's an insect or something that it's waiting for its food. Let's say a snake, right? The snake, it waits for its food. Espera por su comida. We in Spanish say, la culebra espera por su comida. The snake waits for its food. But we can say, espera por su comida entre las ramas. It waits for its food between the leaves, right? We can say that, and we say that. Funny thing, it's also the imperative form. The only thing is, if it were imperative form, this is something else that we're going to study, but I think this is a very good question, and it deserves to be answered. I'm going to show you the two imperative forms in Spanish, and you will realize why is not this form. The first one is espera por tu comida, because espera is tú espera. Tú espera por tu comida. That would be imperative form. O espere por su comida. That would be imperative form. Espera por su comida. Yeah, it could be. Well, it sounds kind of weird. We could think it's imperative, but it's not really an imperative form. This is a regular sentence, subject, verb, object in Spanish. The only thing is we don't have, we don't use the pronoun when it's it. And this would be the imperative forms. Espera por tu comida. If we are close, right? Informal. Or espere por su comida. If we are not close, or formal thing. Espere por su comida, right? So this is interesting. This is a very good question. Thanks a lot for your question. And because I was just waiting, perhaps someone was going to ask a question. Here, estudia sus movimientos would be estudia tus movimientos would be imperative, or estudie sus movimientos, that would be imperative, but not this one. We can say, yeah, that could be imperative form, yeah and no, and mostly no because of this. And remember, we're gonna get there. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. But in the meantime, is that okay? Are you okay with that? Did you understand the idea behind the imperative form as opposed to regular subject, object, subject, verb, object form, pattern, structure? Okay. Existir. Okay. Él existe como una leyenda en la historia del deporte. He exists as a legend in the history of sports. Remember, in English, it's like, oh, it sounds maybe a little weird, but in Spanish makes sense. Ella existe para ayudar a los demás. She exists to help others. Existe en diferentes lugares del mundo. It exists. It exists in different parts of the world. Nosotros existimos como parte de un ecosistema interconectado. Nosotros existimos. We exist as a part of an interconnected ecosystem. Ellos existen male para defender los derechos humanos. They exist to defend human rights. Ellas existen para defender los derechos humanos. They exist to defend human rights. And that would be exist. Ganar. Ganar, we can say to win, earn, or gain. And we use for the three ganar, right? At school. It's easy. So, yeah, right, because I speak Spanish, it's easy, but don't worry. We, we Spanish speakers have to deal with a lot of things when learning English, especially some structures and the pronunciation of words, the sounds. A lot of sounds that we don't have in Spanish and we have to learn in English. But anyways, over. Yo gano, ganar. You see how most of the verbs ending are, so it's easy. Ganar. Yo gano el concurso de talentos cada año. Yo gano. I win the talent contest every year. Tú ganas mucho dinero en tu trabajo. You win a lot of money in your job. I mean, you earn, porque you make money. You earn. Tú ganas dinero en tu trabajo. Unlike yo gano el concurso, it's a contest, I win. But in Spanish it's the same. Usted gana mucho dinero en su trabajo, formal, singular. Ustedes ganan mucho dinero en su trabajo, plural. Vosotros ganáis mucho dinero en vuestro trabajo, plural, Spain. Él gana el partido de tenis con facilidad. He wins the tennis match easily. Ella gana reconocimiento por su labor humanitaria. She gains recognition for her humanitarian work. Gana más rápidamente. This one, funny thing, this one, it's also an imperative form. And this one works as imperative in Spanish. It could be like an advertisement for a protein shake or something. Gana más rápidamente for the people, bodybuilders and stuff. Gana más rápidamente. That would be the imperative. But it gains más quickly. Gana más rápidamente. Subject, verb, object. Nosotros ganamos experiencia con cada proyecto que realizamos. We gain experience with every project we undertake. In Spanish makes sense. I'm just trying to give you the conjugations and to understand the relationship with the verbs in English. The meaning. Ellos ganan la lotería y se vuelven millonarios. Male. They win the lottery and become millionaires. Ellas ganan la lotería y se vuelven millonarias. Sorry. Millonarias. They win the lottery and become millionaires. Female. And this is the last one. Yeah, this is the last one. Guardar. I'm sorry, quick break. Water break. Ganar, to keep. Guardar, I mean, guardar. To keep, to save, or to store. Save also means ahorrar. When we use in Spanish, save can be translated as ahorrar or guardar. Yo guardo mis libros en el estante. I keep my books on the shelf. Tú guardas, singular, informal, close. Tus pertenencias en el armario. You keep your belongings in the closet. Usted guarda sus pertenencias en el armario. Singular, formal. Ustedes guardan sus pertenencias en el armario. Plural. Vosotros guardáis vuestras pertenencias en el armario. Spain, plural. Él guarda su dinero en el banco. He keeps his money in the bank. Ella guarda sus joyas en una caja de seguridad. She keeps her jewelry in a safe box. Guarda comida por todos lados. It stores food everywhere. That one, guarda comida por todos lados, can be used as imperative too. Interesting. Nosotros guardamos los documentos importantes en una carpeta. We keep important documents in a folder. And ellos guardan sus bicicletas en el garaje. Male, they keep their bicycles in a garage. Ellas guardan sus bicicletas en el garaje. They keep, female, their bicycles in the garage. And we have practiced and studied and learned conjugation of 10 more verbs out of 56. And we still have, let's count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 6, 26 more to go. Luckily, we're going to do that in 2 more classes. And those would be our 6 live streaming classes in which we are practicing regular verb conjugation. That would be it. That would be it. Let's get rid of this table. That would be it. And then next live classes would be studying some other concepts, grammar concepts. And we are going to learn also the structures for sentences and some more foundations, grammar, things that will help you in order to sound natural. Remember that I recently started a series of videos of speaking like Colombian, learning how to speak like a Colombian or understand Colombian people, because it's Colombian slang 101. Luckily, that's going to be helpful. And remember that I'm trying to bring a lot of contents as much as I can in order to help you with your process of learning Spanish. I don't know if you have questions. Malik says, ¿podrías hablar sobre el verbo gustar? Okay, el verbo gustar. Who else wants to know about el verbo gustar? It's so easy. It's so, well, it's easy. It's easy. Let's check this real quick. Gustar. And don't worry, because later I'm going to make a full video about el verbo gustar, because this is so interesting. This is so interesting. El verbo gustar. Gustar. I think, yeah, I think here, gustar. It basically it's the next verb, but sneak peek to the next verb, gustar. Think in Spanish. Let's think in English first, right? I say, I like Japanese words. Indeed, I like Japanese words. I like Japanese. It's like that. And it is translated as me gustan las espadas japonesas. And you say, how come me gustan when I write I like? Because this is the way we talk. I know it's a silly explanation, but the real explanation behind this is to like really means, it's really translated as gustar de. That's the real translation of to like in Spanish. Meaning, I say, yo gusto de las espadas japonesas. That's the real translation of I like Japanese words. That's the real translation. Let's do some other sentences, right? Japonesas. Sorry, I'm kind of. Me gustan las espadas. So, you like football. You like football. Tú gustas del fútbol. That's it. Tú gustas del fútbol. That's the real translation. That's the real translation of that. He likes pizza. And that would be él gusta de la pizza. That's the real translation. Ella, she likes to be here. Ella gusta de estar aquí. It likes to be washed. Gusta de ser bañado. Say an elephant, it likes to be washed, to be bathed, right? We like rock music. Well, in my case, we like heavy metal music. Whoa. Nosotros gustamos de el heavy metal. Del metal pesado would be metal. Would be the real translation, metal pesado. But in Spanish, we say heavy metal. This is not heavy metal. This is more hardcore, punk, hardcore, thrash, depending on the time and music. Anyways, and they like the new car. Ellos gustan del nuevo carro. So, if you see the verb like, the verb to like, is really translated as gustar de. The thing is that we don't speak like that in Spanish, at least not here in Colombia. If somebody says, me gustan. No, me gustan can be me gustan los perros, male, me gustan las espadas, female. It doesn't mind. Gustan is plural. Plural. Me gustan. It's plural. That's it. Male, female. Me gustan. Right? So, in Spanish, at least here in Colombia, if someone says, yo gusto de las espadas japonesas, I understand. It sounds weird. It doesn't sound natural, but I understand. Right? But we say, me gustan las espadas. Te gusta el fútbol. Te gusta el fútbol. Le gusta la pizza a él. Le gusta estar aquí. Le gusta ser bañado. Nos gusta el heavy metal. Les gusta el carro nuevo. That's the way we use the verb to like in Spanish. You say, how come? Well, I'm going to ask you the same. In English, we say, I was born. Let's make it easy. I'm 53. You say that in English. I'm 53 what? Years old. You say that in English. In Spanish, we say, yo tengo 53 años. So I ask, why you say I'm 53? You should be, I have 53 because that's the way we say in Spanish. In Spanish, we say yo tengo. In English, you say I'm 53 years. If you ask me, in my personal opinion, in my humble personal opinion, it makes more sense in English because I don't own the time. I don't say I have, where do I have the 53? Maybe I have lived 53 years. Yeah, so far. Luckily, another 53. Sorry. Yeah, I've listened to Lamb of God. Real, wow. Good tastes. But I'm an ST fan, so I've been ST my whole life since I was 17, I guess, and I'm 53. So that's something in English. I'm 53, and to me it makes more sense because soy 53 años viejo. That makes sense. Same thing that I was born in. Yo nací en. In Spanish, I say yo nací en. But the real translation for I was born is yo fui parido en. And we understand that. If somebody says yo fui parido en, we say, well, I understand, but it sounds weird. It sounds not quite natural. We say yo nací. And in Spanish, we say yo tengo, even though, yeah, flash forward, we don't have accumulated the years. No. Well, yes and no. But that's the way we think in Spanish. Remember, and this is something very important. This is, I would say this is the first thing that we need to learn when we are learning, this would be the first, one of the first and most important things to considerate, to think about when we are starting to learn a second language. Whoa, what happened here? There's something wrong here with the GoPro. Okay, whoops. Something's wrong. Okay, let's keep this. Whoops. Whoa, okay. Here. Okay, so once again, and this is something that we are going to discuss a lot in several videos, because I love talking about this. You can see that because it's 8:57 and we're still speaking here and we're still in this class. So when we are learning a second language, we need to understand that we need to learn and be willing to learn to think differently, in a different way than we usually think in our language, especially if the language that I'm learning doesn't have the same roots as mine. Let's say Spanish, basically it's Latin roots. English, even though it has Latin things, it's not. I wouldn't say English its roots are Latin. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's say Japanese. If we are learning Japanese, which are the roots of Japanese? I don't think. I don't know. And when we learn Japanese, let's say I know a few sentences in Japanese. If I say in English, I like water. No, I drink water. In Japanese, I say misu o nomimasu. Misu o nomimasu. I drink water. You drink water. Misu o nomimasu. He drinks water. Misu o nomimasu. She drinks water. Misu o nomimasu. It's the same. And we need to start thinking differently. In Spanish, I drink water. Yo tomo agua. You drink water. Tú tomas agua. He drinks water. Tú tomas agua. You need to start thinking differently in some things, especially when it comes to certain expressions, certain structures, especially when it comes to adjectives. That's so different. In English, you have 2, 3, 4 adjectives before the noun. In Spanish, we start with the noun and then the adjectives. And we know what we're talking about. In English, it's not like that. Romans. Okay, thanks, Serena, for your comment here. Latin-based Romance languages. Oh, interesting. Yeah, makes sense. But still, we have a lot of differences because I think English is also has also things from Greek and German languages. Anyways, the sounds, structures. So we need, when we are learning a second language, we need to be willing to learn how to think differently. And this is going to make us more intelligent. This is going to get our brain then, wow, it's going to explode. It's going to be awesome. If you can, or if you haven't yet watched that movie, The Arrival, with Jeremy Renner, I think it's his name. Anyways, The Arrival, about aliens and a group of people who start learning how to think like them. That's so interesting. And that's where we native speakers, we all make mistakes in our native languages. So okay, so well, it's already 9:01 and we should have finished yet. So luckily I have hopefully I have answered your questions. This thing with the verb gustar, it's interesting, and we're going to talk about again next live class, because this is the next verb that we're going to practice. And I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here with you, the ones who are live here with us tonight. Thank you very much for taking the time to stay here with me, to learn and practice a little bit. And also to those who are watching this later, because this video is going to stay there. in three different playlists. Remember, this is a matter of practice. If you have doubts, watch the video as many times as you need. And if you're still in doubt, leave a comment. I'll reply as soon as possible. Also, if you like the video, you know what to do. Share with your friends, groups, and social media. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. That's going to help us grow like I did with the other channel. Hopefully, we're going to reach a lot of people. And also, that's going to keep you posted about all of the new videos that I'm posting every week. And also, you're going to be able to participate in the live chat. Also, I have membership levels, and that's interesting too, because if you want to support the channel, that we really appreciate that, and we have some extra stuff for you there as a member. Also, I'm also planning on a Patreon contents. We'll see what happens. Anyways, I really enjoy this. Okay, ¿qué sobre cuando gente se dice que se debería aprender inglés viejo por hablar español mejor? I don't get your question. I'm sorry, Malik, I don't get your question. La gente que dice que se debería aprender inglés viejo. What do you mean inglés viejo? Por hablar español mejor. Oh, you mean ancient English? I don't think so. Oh, I don't think so. No. Okay. Spanish. We have Spanish from Spain and we have Spanish from Latin America, right? It's pretty much like Spanish from British English and American English. It's pretty much the same. You also have English in Australia. They have their accent, their pronunciation stuff, their idioms, their phrases, vocabulary. You also have English in Canada. You also have English in Irish English. They have a thick, weird accent. At least to me, it sounds kind of weird. Well, not weird. It's kind of tough for me as a non-native speaker. But it's basically Spanish from Spain. I mean, English from British English and American English, right? In Spanish, we have Spanish from Spain and Spanish from Latin America. And that's basically it. And Spanish from Latin America, it's pretty much the same. It's so different than the Spanish from Spain because of the pronunciation. And depending on the countries, there are, of course, idioms, maybe words that mean something that don't mean the same in the other region. It's not so hard. But if you plan to go, let's say you're planning on moving to Europe, you should learn Spanish from Spain, because that's what you are going to hear there. Spanish from Spain. Now, if you're planning on moving to Colombia, to Latin America, Central America, South America, learn Spanish from Latin America, and especially try to focus on the Spanish from the place you're going to move. Spanish from Mexico is pretty much, in fact, when you go, let's say Netflix, HBO, Paramount, those platforms, and you choose languages, it says Spanish and Latin American Spanish. And Latin American Spanish, it's mostly dubbed in Mexico or Argentina. It's interesting. It is like that. I've seen that. And so if you're going to learn Spanish, focus on Spanish. Do not focus on English at all. Focus on Spanish, and focus on the Spanish of the country or the area you're going to move to, or you're going to make friends with, or perhaps the one that you feel more appealed to, right? Because let's say, funny thing, my brother, he's from Colombia. He lived like 11 years in Spain, if not more. Right now he's living in Norway. And whenever he watches movies, he goes with the Spanish from Spain dubbing. And it's like, it sounds, to me, if I'm going to watch a movie and I'm going to watch the movie, let's say an English, let's say a series, like let's say The Office, right? I'm gonna watch with my wife The Office. She doesn't speak English, and we put the language in Spanish, but we don't put the Spanish from Spain. It sounds weird. To us it sounds weird. So if you go and learn Spanish in Spain 5 years, and then you come here to Medellin or Bogota or La Cosa somewhere, you're gonna have issues. It's not that you're going to lose your it's not that you lost your time there, but you're gonna have issues because you're going to have to adapt. In fact, my best friend, one of my best friends, he's French. He lived in Spain for like 20 something years. He learned Spanish from Spain, and in an area in which he dealt a lot with Andaluces and Catalanes. They have their thing going in their accent, really really weird accent. So in fact, if I listen to three Andaluces speaking all together, I get lost. It's like that. So he came to Colombia like in 2007, I think. He came here to Colombia. I met him back in 2012. And when I met him, when he speaks Spanish from Spain. He's got the accent. Only for the past few years, I've noticed that he's been getting the accent of Colombia, but mostly he's got the Spanish accent. A lot of words in Spanish from Spain. And he's a doctor. When he's at his practice, there was this like 5 years in which I helped him at his practice. Long story. Thing is that a lot of times he said things in Spanish to the patient, and the patient turned to me like, "What did he say?" I was like, "He said this." I understood him. I don't know why you didn't understand him, but he said this. Anyways, so once again, Spanish, you're going to learn Spanish. Learn Spanish from whatever part you are going to move, or you think you're going to deal with more, or you feel more attracted to it, because there are differences. Okay? Right now, when I listen to people from London, I had a little bit of trouble depending on how fast they speak. That's not the case when I talk to people from USA, because that's the English that I've learned, and I spent 6 years in the United States. So go figure. Okay, so man, 10 more minutes. There has been a good class, but it's longer than I expected. Hopefully, it has been nice and useful for all of you. So remember, like, share, subscribe if you can, and if you want to support a little bit more, you can choose one of the membership levels available, and hopefully I'll see you. Looking forward to seeing you in future classes. Yeah, exactly, my friend. Exactly. You're so right. Time flies when you're having fun. El tiempo vuela cuando lo pasas bien. El tiempo vuela cuando lo pasas bien. Y lo estoy pasando muy bien. Lo paso muy bien. I always have such a great time when it comes to teaching. No, I'm not from Mexico. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. I know some things from Mexico, but I'm not Mexican. Sorry, my friend. Órale, chale. Anyways, so remember, keep on studying, keep on having fun. Haré todo lo posible para ayudarlos. I'll do my best in order to help you aprender español, in order to learn Spanish. Así que sigan estudiando, keep on studying, and looking forward to seeing you in a future video. Y espero verlos en próximos videos. Have a great night. Tengan una feliz noche, que pasen buena noche. Have a great night. See you next video. Nos vemos en el próximo video. Bye bye.